Have you been feeling that something's been missing from the main line, aka Hasbro, which you can pick up at Walmart, Target, and a lot of retail stores? Or have you felt like you just haven't been getting the most for your money? Maybe you've noticed the waffling, maybe you've noticed the increase in pricing in comparison to what you get as far as playability. Well, I think I have a solution. And on today's walk, I'm going to share with you the Rex Kaiser, which I think will answer all those questions. So here he is, Rex Kaiser. Little bit of information about this. This is my first time going down this rabbit hole. I knew nothing about this line before buying him. It was one of those impulse buys. I happened to see him in the stores. I was on vacation in Japan, saw him in the store, and I was like, you know what? I definitely want that. Okay. And there's a little bit of irony in there that I picked it up in Japan, and I'll explain that shortly. Okay. All right, so to give you a little backstory before we look at the core bot, this is actually from the Miniforce line. The Miniforce is a TV show over in Korea by SAMG. They produce kid TV shows as well as the figures that we're looking at right now. Now, Miniforce would be the equivalent of Octonauts. I don't know if you remember Octonauts TV show. So Octonauts and Power Rangers, meaning that they are animals, humanoid animals, and there are actually humans in the show too. And the animals have Power Ranger like abilities. And this is actually from season 7, their Dinoid season. So, a little bit of history there. If you know more about this figure, feel free to comment, share a little bit of history, or if I say something incorrect, please share. All right. So this is Rex. A little bit of history there. If you know more about this figure, feel free to comment, share a little bit of history, or if I say something incorrect, please share. All right. So this is Rex Kaiser. Rex Kaiser is going to be your main bot, and I'll show you the accessories. This does have some really cool accessories. So like I said, so this would be almost like a Megazord in this, or in terms of Transformers, you have a headmaster, or I should say car headmaster, and I'll explain that shortly what I mean by that. So let's just take a look at the bot, the core bot. Look at how amazing that is. Okay, so as far as the head sculpt, it looks amazing. You got a lot of gold and black there. You really can't see it too much in the light, but it does look amazing. Now, this here is a helmet. I'm going to take that off just for a second. Okay. And if you notice, he does have a Starscream kind of look to him. Kaiser. Rex Kaiser is going to be your main bot. And I'll show you the accessories. This does have some really cool accessories. So like I said, so this would be almost like a Megazord in this, or in terms of Transformers, you have a headmaster, or I should say car headmaster, and I'll explain that shortly what I mean by that. So let's just take a look at the bot, the core bot. Look at how amazing that is. Okay, so as far as the head sculpt, it looks amazing. You got a lot of gold and black there. You really can't see it too much in the light, but it does look amazing. Now, this here is a helmet. I'm going to take that off just for a second. Okay, and if you notice, he does have a Starscream kind of look to him. The reason that he looks that way is because in the show, and again, I did do a little bit of research, watched a couple episodes. In the show, this would be his core bot, or before he suits up and powers up. Okay, trying to put that back on for a second. There we go. Okay, now as far as the body, okay, you get this amazing Rex kind of head sculpt here. The mouth does open up. Okay, you do have screw holes there, but for the price, I think that's going to be okay. Hardly notice it. So you get this amazing head sculpt there, as well as this T-Rex looking chest. Okay, a lot of gold, black, and red accents as far as silver. Okay, and I'm going to show you something that's going to be a theme throughout here. So when you take a look at the arms, okay, ready? You hear all that? All those ratchets. Okay, ready? Here we go. A lot more ratchets. Okay, so you get all the way around. Okay, as far as a butterfly, you do not get an inward butterfly. You have an outward butterfly, but that's because of transformation. Okay, you get these gold shoulder pads here. Again, more click. Okay, That tucks away because of transformation. Now, as far as the arm, okay, you did get an upper bicep swivel. Okay. Now, there are some amazing features about this robot. Okay. You do almost get, you get a good elbow bend there. Okay. Now, here's some negatives. Okay. You do get some articulated fingers here. Okay. You get it just at the knuckle. Okay. But here's something that's going to be kind of sad about it. You get no wrist swivel. Sorry, it's been a long day. You know, wrist swivel. Okay. As far as the arm, I think that's going to be it. Yeah. Okay. Now, here's something that kind of surprised me. You get an ab crunch. Look at that. You get a little ab crunch there. Okay. Now, as far as the back, you get this coin here. Okay. And I'll show you how that works shortly. Actually, I'll just show you right now. So you get the T-Rex mode, the Rex Kaiser mode, you get the car mode, which does look pretty cool. This tucks in, you push it in. Actually, let's put him in here. He's in Rex mode. Push it in, push that in. Okay, there we go. Okay. Now, as far as the legs, you do get some hip skirts out in front. Okay, nothing in the side or the back. Okay, but get ready. Hear that? You get the outward ratchets and the front and back ratchets. Okay. As far as you can't go all the way back, but you can definitely go all the way forward. These right here, let me show you those right now. Okay. So as far as the leg, you get these. These will be the feet when we go into T-Rex mode. Okay. And I'm gonna show you this. This kind of like surprises me. I know you're probably thinking at home like, wow, would ever stop with a clickety clack. You do get an upper leg, thigh, and like I said, so many ratchets in this thing. Okay. Now, as far as the knee bend, okay, you get a 90 there. Okay. As far as the ankles, you get an outward, slight inward. Okay. You do get a little bit of front and back as well. You get a cool heel that is helpful. Okay. All right. So that's it pretty much for the core bot. Okay. And I'll show you what this does in a second, but let's take a look at accessories. For weapons, you get two ion blasters, or I believe they're called Rex cannons. Okay. Now, there's two forms here. You can extend this. Okay. But for now, we're going to keep it down short. You've got two modes to go on the back and to go on the hand. Okay. So first, we'll show you how it fits on the back. Okay. So let me turn them around. So back here, you're going to notice two ports. Okay. As far as this will be part of the dinosaur mode, I'll show you that briefly. So make sure that this is facing in. You want the nice part facing out. This is just going to clip right there. Same thing on the other side. Okay. So that's how it looks with his weapons in the back. Okay, as far as storage. Now, like I said, I've been doing a little bit of research. I don't think this is on the show at all. But if I rotate this forward, you can get those weapons facing forward. I should probably switch them. So like I said, the nice part facing in. And like I said, I don't think this mode is in the show. That's why it's actually not part of the instructions. But you can put those cannons on top. Okay. And he does get a blade. His Rex blade. Okay. Now, as far as how he can hold that in his arm, and like I said, this is something I wish it did have. That it did have wrist rotation. But again, for the price, you can't beat it. So you got a notch there. You got a notch there. Just clip it in. Close those fingers. And he does a good job holding it. Okay. Now, as far as the Rex cannons, okay, put this down, put this out, okay. Same notch here. The weapons are a little bit tricky. The thumb doesn't articulate. There we go. But once it's in his hand, it's good to go. And because he's holding those as ion cannons like his transformers, okay? Look at that. And he holds those just fine, okay? Now, another part about the weapons, or something else cool, is these weapons can actually fit in his legs, okay? There we go. Put this down, okay? Over here, you're gonna notice two notches that match up, okay? And we're just gonna put those in there. Okay, sorry, you got two notches there and a notch there. There we go. Okay. Now, if you want to, you can store the weapons on his hips as well. Actually, I take that back. You cannot, they don't fit. That's made for his sword. I'll show you that in a minute. Notch this in. So if you want, his sword can store on his hip. There we go. Okay. So there we go. Now, why do the weapons go on the legs? There is a mode similar to Power Rangers, how the Zoids can combine. You do have an option to put this arm back and to add an additional arm here. Now, this is something amazing about the figure. You get a wired cape, okay? So how do we put on the cape? So let's take this Car Master out just for a second. I'm gonna lift up on the head. Even the head has ratchets, okay? We're gonna put this down here. And what I recommend doing is tucking this underneath the best you can. Get it underneath. It is elastic. Bring that down. Click it in. Okay. Now back here, okay, we're going to click him back in. And there's the cape. Like I said, it's wired. Okay, let's put that sword back in his hand. Give him a cool look. As I'm doing that, the cannons, I think if you're going to put the cape on them, I think the cannons are best down on the legs. The cannons kind of interfere with the cape. How cool is that? Okay, and if you want, you can get that mouth open. I guess ready to fight. How cool is that? Okay. Sorry, can't put a cape on them and not try to articulate them. There it is. So there he is with all the accessories. All right. So let's get him accessories off and get him transformed. So I don't know if I showed this last time. Before we transform him, he does have a waist swivel. And again, there goes those ratchets again. You can go all the way around. No issues there, okay? We will lose some of that waist rotation in the transformation, okay? All right, so here we go. First thing we have to do. So we're gonna turn him around. We're gonna take off this key, this coin, okay? From what I can tell, from the show, these were their activation coins. The different limbs, the different robots, the different power-ups all have different coins. So you have, like I said, the head slash car mode. I'll show you that in a second. And you have the Rex Kaiser mode. Okay. Now, as far as the character, this is a character. I believe it's Tara. He or she is a green chibi dinosaur. So first thing you have to do, take out the car. Oh, make sure this is back. Take out the car. Take off the helmet just for a second. There we go. Okay. And then we're going to flip this around. Pretty simple transformation. These moves back. Click in. Fold that down. And now we have our car. Okay. So this would be, this in the show is actually another robot. So that's the head mode, and it rolls just fine. Okay. Now, as far as the head, we're going to move this part back here. Move up the head. Like that. Okay. Close in. Actually, let me put this back down just for a second. Okay, show you something. So we've got that head, and this does look pretty cool. Okay. We're going to fold this head mask, face mask in. It just goes down like that. This is going to notch right in here to fill in that gap. Okay. Then that piece, we're going to move it up. There we go. Okay. We're going to fold these in. Expose the T-Rex arms. Okay. We're going to put in his shoulder pads. We're going to straighten out the arms. These are going to open up. Okay. You're going to see a clip here. Okay. So those arms are going to swing in. But the arms have to swivel at the bicep. They're going to clip in right there at those ports I showed earlier. Where's it at? There it is. Okay, so they're secure. Let me show you this right here. So I mentioned earlier that there were options. These are where those extra limbs would port in. Okay, so now give them a little, activate that ab crunch just for a second. You can already see he's starting to form a little bit. We're going to put back down, put those back in. Now, as far as the legs, these come up, open them up, okay, to make the hips a little bit higher for the T-Rex mode. And I want to apologize if you're at home and you're hearing all those ratchets. It is cool that there's ratchets everywhere, but man, you definitely hear them. Okay. Now, as far as the legs, we're going to push the heel down, swing that foot around. Okay. And then this is going to rotate down. Put that foot forward, and that gives you the foot of the dinosaur, T-Rex. And we do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so pushing that heel, swing the foot around, rotate this down. Okay, that doesn't look too clean, but I'm not too mad. Okay, so we're gonna push these, give them a little bit of T-Rex kind of look. Bring those legs forward, bend at the knees. Oh, we forgot one quick thing, the coin. Because he was activated with the car mode, we have to open these arms back up just for a second. Put that coin back in Rex mode. Okay, tuck it in, lock it in, push it in. Now we can put the arms back. Clip them up there and down here. There it is. Now we're almost done. He does look pretty cool, but if you notice, he looks like he's missing something. He's missing his tail. Okay. So now, as far as the weapons, okay, make sure they're collapsed down. If they look like this, just collapse them down. Okay. If this is up, put it down. Tuck it away. Okay. So we're going to come over here. So you got a hole right here and a hole right there. Okay. So hole right there. We're going to put that in, clamp these fingers just a little. This right here is going to fit into his hand. Let's get that in. There we go. Okay. Then the sword, okay, you've got another little notch right here. Try to put it on camera. Little notch right there. Let's put that in. Tip it up. And same thing on the other side. So it's going to clip. That's going to go into there. And it's just going to secure it on both sides. Those are going to fold in his hands. Open those fingers. Huh, camera just changed colors on me. There we go. Okay. So there he is. Let me take this forward a little. Let's get that head down a little. And there he is in T-Rex mode. And I want to say it does look cool. Okay. Now, as far as articulation in this mode, okay, you do have the mouth that opens up. Oh, we forgot the most important part. This part here can open up. There, now he looks legit. Okay. The mouth does open up. You've got neck, swivel. You got a little bit left and right. As far as the neck, it does open in the back. I'm going to keep it down like that, or maybe here, then looking down like that. Now, as far as the arms, they are on a ball joint right here. You do have a little bit at a elbow and wrist. I want to say, as far as the arms, no big surprise there. He's got your typical Grimlock T-Rex arms. Now, if you want, you can activate the ab crunch, but you're going to disconnect those arms back there. Do it on this side. Okay, you can activate that ab crunch to get him leaning a little bit more. Not a big deal. So if you want him bending over, like he's attacking the car, you see that on camera. That works just fine. Okay, but like I said, you lose those guns, but it's not the biggest thing in the world. If you want to get a shot. Now, as far as the leg, it's the same articulation on the hips as before. The feet, they're not my favorite. You get your typical, and hopefully you see that on camera. But I mean, he's not going to go anywhere. You just have to play with it to get it to look good. Click those down. Overall, I think he looks good. Now, as far as the cape, I'm not going to use the cape in Dino mode. All right, let's do some comparisons. All right, so comparison time. Let's first look at the car. So we have Tyra's car, Rex Kaiser's little car here. Now, as far as how it looks on the show, I'll try to post a picture and find one online, maybe right here. Okay. Now, I do have a Blocky's Optimus Prime, kind of to show you the comparison, how he looks up. It is similar to your Hot Wheels car. No big surprise there. I've got a Blocky's car here. I've got a Hot Wheels Bumblebee. So it's a little bit smaller, but Bumblebee is a smaller type vehicle. Okay. Now, as far as Rex Kaiser, I'll try to have a comparison video. Sorry, comparison picture, maybe right here. If I can find one online, how he looks. Now, this is the stealth mode. It's not a shattered glass look. So the photos that I find may be what it looks like on the show, which is his color mode. Now, as far as comparison, I do not own any other figures in this line, but I do have your Studio Series Grimlock. So that's how it looks in comparison to Studio Series Grimlock. Let's put them like this. So he's smaller than your Studio Series, no big surprise there. Now let's put him with your MP Grimlock. There he is right there. Now, do me a favor. In the comments, if you know where this headpiece is from, I pulled it out of storage from Grimlock's box. If you know in the comments where that's from, please share. And please comment why I pulled it out of storage. So there he is with your MP Grimlock. But this is where I think is the better comparison. So here's your KO Reximus Prime. I think he sizes up with that. So it's an oversized KO of MP Grimlock. This is my Grimlock that I'll be adding. This is the Grimlock from my movie shelf. That's why his wheelies up there. Okay. So there he is with the oversized KO Reximus. Okay. All right, let's put him back in robot mode, do another comparison, and then give you some final thoughts. All right, so we got him back, got Rex Kaiser back in robot mode. As far as comparisons, I pulled off some death spots. So we've got MP10. This is a KO MP10 in the animated colors. And I've got Grimlock, the Reximus Grimlock, to kind of give you a comparison. And the reason I pulled out Grimlock is because he is that dinosaur-looking robot. So as you can tell, he does size up. Let me pull it. Lean him back a little. Open up that. There we go. Okay. Open him up a little. Sorry. Grimlock. And Grimlock's going to lose his sword. There we go. Okay. So as far as size comparison, there we have. Put MP10 out in front. Give you a look. So yeah, there is some comparison. All right, final thoughts. So final thoughts, the good and the bad. Starting with the bad, there's no die cast in this figure. That doesn't bother me 100%, but I know that does bother some people. However, for the price point, it makes sense why there's no die cast in here. As far as articulation, I'm overall happy. The head, I wish you got more up movement, but you can look down, but it doesn't, it doesn't help. I wish we could just look up so we can see the eyes better. Okay, as you start to lift up, you're kind of hitting against the back here. You do get your left and right, but I just wish he looked up more so we can see the eyes better. Okay, as far as again articulation, there's no wrist swivel. You do get your bicep, but I can live with that. The feet are okay in robot mode. No issues with that. It's just in dyno mode, I just wish they looked a little bit cleaner. Okay. Now, as far as the good, this is a fun robot, fun toy to play with. Now, this is my first SAMG toy from their toy line. They do make other things. I don't know if you're familiar with Metal Carbots. Definitely highly recommend checking out Metal Mayhem on Realm of Collectors. Great show. That's where I got my my second exposure to Metal Carbots. The first one was in BotCon a few years ago. But SAMG also makes this line, Miniforce, which I'm all in. I started down the rabbit hole looking at the different seasons. I definitely want to get some of their police force lines. The thought of these are Power Ranger type robots just really fascinates me. Another good point about this, or an amazing feature, is the price point. I am now very selective with what I buy from Hasbro, the main line, but for the price point, you get so much. I mean, the playability with this, and I've got the transformation memorized, so I'm going to be going back and forth, and the detail on this is just amazing. I didn't point this out earlier, but even in car mode, you have these guns that you see up here, the head, there's so much playability here, okay, that I highly recommend this figure. So again, first figure in the SAMG toy line, Miniforce. Now, where can you get this? I picked this up when I was vacationing in Japan, and this is funny because this is a Korean toy line, but I saw it and I had to buy it. You can order it online. However, this summer, if you're going to BotCon, this is a BotCon exclusive. They're going to release the American edition of this, which is going to be the same product. I don't know if it's going to be the same box. I had the box in the opening credit, but the box is amazing. You know, the great artwork, and I am looking forward to getting more of these. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the walk. And if you pick this up or if you collect this toy line, please comment in below and let me know. All right, later.